Hey, it's BT with Tales from Gemini. Thank you so much, Malik. And this one, man, this literally was at the last minute. I'm at home chilling. It's MotoGP weekend, if you guys don't know. And what I do is I stay up all night to watch MotoGP. And I watch the qualifying. So I went to bed around 9 o'clock. So 9 o'clock this morning. Went to bed 9 o'clock this morning. And I get this text from our guest. And he goes, hey, man, I want to do that podcast. And I go, okay. So then when I woke up like at 2. He goes, let's do it. I said, okay. So this is my guest. We're supposed to do it before. I guess it's flat track racer Cameron Smith. So let's bring him in. Let's bring Cameron in. So we're going to make it work.
Okay, Cameron just left, so you got to tell him to come back.
What did he leave for?
He left right before it, too. Like, oh, here, he's back.
Okay. He must have used bathroom or something like that. Okay. All right, here we go. I hope this is better last time. Here we go. I still love this part. It's my favorite part. It will always be.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, there we go. Yes. What's going on, Cam? How are you, buddy?
Good. How about yourself, man?
I'm doing great. I want to tell everybody, we had this one time. We did it before. We had a great time, but he was in his car, and it was on lunch break, I think, at your regular job, and they had a bad connection. I guess you were outside of, in the middle of nowhere? And
I think I was in the city. I mean, it wasn't a very good connection there.
But now we got it. And you hit me up last night. I said, man, I want to be on the podcast. Like, can we do it? I said, let's do it. And so anyway, we got it done today. But you hit me up when I was waking up and go, yeah, we'll make it work. And so, man, people don't know the scrambling to get this done. But, man, I'm so glad you're with us, brother. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take people back. Cameron Smith, it was about 3 years ago. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, watching some flat track. And I love to go around the paddock. And I was like, is that an African-American racing motorcycles? Is that a black kid? I go, oh my God. So naturally I just had to, I was attracted to it like a magnet. And I went over there and it was you, a young kid. And I go, oh my God. And you were so nice, so kind of shy because your dad was like, talk to him. And I guess I was kind of like, geeky, like, hey man. I was like, I guess too energetic for your average guy my age. I don't think men my age get that energetic. And I was like, hey man. And I was talking to him. His dad was like, just talk to him. And it was so great to meet you and talk to you, man. And I always wanted to know your story because, like I said, you were out there doing the damn thing. I didn't get a chance to stay around. I had to go work. But I want to know your story. Like, how did you get into motorcycles like that to the point where you are now?
A friend of the babysitters, Devin Owens, and a few others, Josh Short, and a couple others that, got babysat there. They were like, man, you want to ride? We ride. Why don't you ride? And I'm like, shoot, man, I want to ride. So I think my on my birthday, my 4th birthday, my dad got me a 4-wheeler. And, I was putting around on that thing a little bit like that. And then I got good with it. You know what I mean? And I think I was watching my dad mess with it a little bit.
Yeah.
And he would just let me go out there and ride. He'd go back inside and sit down and watch football or something like that. So I took the governor off of it. I'm out there flying around. He's like, yo, what the heck is going on, man? I took the governor off of it, man. I was rolling. And then
no, what's the governor? I have no idea. I don't really know anything technical. I just like to ride.
So I think the governor was it only let it go but so fast. You know what I mean? Since I was so young. And then, it's almost like a rental vehicle. It can only go 70 miles per hour. But then you take the governor off of it, you can go to 400. You know what I mean?
How did you know to take the governor off at such a young age? How you know about that?
Hey, I don't know. You know what I mean? Kids watch people and then they try it. You know what I mean?
So
it's almost like kids watching. It's almost like kids watching wrestling. Then you got 2 kids out there and he's jumping off the bed onto the other one like Rey Mysterio.
So by the way, telling people you grew up in Pennsylvania, right? Is Coatesville? Is that where it's at?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Now is that a rural area? Is that rural or urban?
We lived in the suburbs. Actually, our neighbors were Amish, and we kind of on the left side of us was a big old field, so you smell poop all the time. So it was
the Amish. The Amish were pooping in the fields because they don't have indoor plumbing. So the Amish were pooping in the field. That's where you smelled the poop. The Amish, don't let them get away with that, man. They get, they sell drugs. They do everything, man. They got a mafia. Don't let them get away with this. This might be a different podcast, man. We got to get on the Amish, man. They get away with a lot of stuff. Just because they got
They do, but they got them whoopie pies, sweet corn, and all kinds of good stuff. So I don't mind it. I'll go down there and get myself some corn and boil it up.
You sound like you're stealing from the Amish, man. You got an Amish girlfriend.
Yeah.
You make it sound like, yeah, well, they ain't that bad, if you know what I mean, bruh. So, so tell me something about the Amish I don't know. Tell me something about the Amish I don't know.
They're not that bad. They're pretty cool. They talk a little funny, but other than that, they're pretty darn cool. They ain't no different from us. You would think like because my dad actually drove around the Amish a little bit, and man, that little kid was like, "Hey, Dad, let me see the phone. I want to talk to my girlfriend." He had like a little flip phone. You know what I mean? He's back there giggling. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, that thing ain't run off propane. I thought, I don't know. So, but they cool. They just like us, but they got their lifestyle's a little bit different. They got spinners on the buggies and systems and whatnot. You know what I mean? They blow you down just like us. You know what I mean? All their stuff is straight cash. They don't get taxed, so they got that.
I love it, man.
They got a little extra cheddar laying around.
That's money underneath the table, man. IRS don't know about that. Hey, that's all you gotta do is the Amish are basically like churches, don't have to pay taxes. That's what the Amish do. They lay their cash down. IRS don't know about it. They be banking, bruh. They be banking.
Yeah.
You try to break in their house, they'll shoot you with a musket. That's what they'll do, man.
Listen, I was thinking about it. I was like, shit, man, I might have 10 kids, get myself a nice little Amish girl, and just kick it. Had the dad hand me down the field. I got the track. You know what I mean? I ain't farming, but hey, shoot, I'll run the tractor.
I love it, man. So you grew up in kind of like a suburb, rural area, and that's how you get a chance to ride a lot?
Yeah, actually, I started riding around my house. Just kind of made a real big circle around my house. But the problem was when you go from the transition to the grass to the driveway back to the grass, and then you kind of have to make a sweep and turn sometimes. Yes. I would hit that. Man, I'll hit that pavement and that bike would slide out. Man, my bike would go under my dad's truck and I was all road rashed up. It happened a bunch of times. And my mom was like, oh, just bring him inside. My dad get the bike. It just came like a regular thing. He's like, man, I told you put them elbow pads. I'm like, you see all the big boys, they ain't got no padding on. I want to be like them,
Man, that's great. What's awesome about that is the fact that you wrecked and your mom still let you ride. Because a lot of parents, when they see their kid crash, especially a motorcycle, they go, okay, that's it, that's enough. So they never tried to stop you?
No, I mean, my dad always wanted me to win, and my mom was right there. So I mean, it was just one of them things. You get hurt, you get back up. My dad's thing was, he came from a boxing world and sports, so he's like, if you're working out, eating what you got to eat, and your body's strong enough, you really shouldn't get broke up that bad.
Then you don't understand how beautiful that is. And there's a picture. If you go on his Instagram, which is 44 Cameron Smith Instagram, there's a picture, man, and it says it all. There's a picture of your mom pushing your bike. And it seems like nothing, but man, because of the fact I've always wanted to do this, and I was like, I always tell people I'm a wannabe, man. That's why I love interviewing racers and everybody, because I'm a wannabe. But I had no support from my family. So to see your mom pushing that bike and realize it's a family affair, do you realize how lucky you are when it comes to that? I mean, seriously, do you? Because sometimes kids don't realize how great they have it until it's too late. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. It was good to have my mom and dad there, but most of the kids at the racetrack, might only have just their dad or both their parents, you know what I mean? Because the dad probably raised and his dad probably raised, and, he's kind of like, man, I don't need the mom there to soften him up, you know what I mean? But it was good for my mom and dad to be there, you know what I mean? Even though my dad really didn't know too much how to work on the bike, we got it done with what we had, and my mom would write down all the races and the tire pressure, the gearing, the track, what place I got, my heat races and stuff like that. So, it was definitely a team aspect, and we came to the track and we got the job done with what little we had.
You understand how beautiful that is, man. The fact that it was a family affair. I mean, that your mom wrote your heat races down, what you did, what you needed to do, and your dad supported you, knowing that he had no motorsports background at all. Like you said, he was a boxer, right? So he had no motor, but he just supported his son. Are you an only kid?
No, he has 3 other kids. I got two two brothers and another sister.
What? So, and where do you fit in? Are you the oldest, youngest, or the middle?
I'm the baby, man. I'm all the way down low.
Oh, you're Bobby Brady, huh? You little Bobby Brady.
Yeah.
So usually when it comes to the youngest kid, parents don't give a damn anymore because it's always the oldest they doted over, and the middle kid's like okay, and then by the time the last kid like he'll be okay, and they don't give a shit. So you have it lucky, man, that the fact they did all that, they supported you like that, man. That's what I always find is so, especially in situations like this, how just incredible that is, the family unit and the fact that your mom was involved. And I think that breaks barriers that people don't realize because, back in the day, usually, I mean, no offense, but usually, women step back or whatever, but your mom was with you the whole step of the way.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. I mean, do you realize how great that is? I mean, honestly, and does she ever get worried when she watches you race? Does she like cross her fingers that she can't watch, or what does she do?
Oh no, she says go get him. She ain't scared. She's a speed demon herself. We always used to if you ask my dad, we always used to go ride go-karts and see that, and you know what I mean, man. She would I don't know if she would get the faster go-kart or what, man, but we'd be going there at it, bumping each other, and I'm mad as heck if she beat me. She over there giggling, laughing, but those are good times, wherever we went, my dad would be like, oh yeah, let's get on the go-karts. I'm like, dang, man. You know what I mean? Because me and my mom, we might get a little competitive, we bumping each other and whatnot. But yeah, it was always a good time.
That's beautiful. Like, okay, so now what other sports did you do before motorcycle racing? What other sports did you participate in?
I did them all. I did the baseball, the basketball, the football. Got into boxing there. Towards the end, my dad started taking me to the gym and whatnot. Instead of just working with me at the house, he took me into the gym. I got to see that, so it was nice.
So, what was it about the motorcycle race that stood out over all the other sports that made you go, "This is the path I really want to go on"?
No other blacks were doing it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the reason why?
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to do something nobody's done before. So it was more than that. I like the motorcycle racing and just the thrill, the speed. You really don't get that with with football and whatnot. It's kind of one of them things that everybody's doing it. You know what I mean? But how many kids are out there racing motorcycles?
Well, here's the thing about it. To me, it was, even though it is a team sport, motorcycle race is a team sport, don't get me wrong, but it's the individual aspect of when you're out there. Where football, it's a team, and like I didn't like the fact that I lifted weights, did everything I did, but we lose because somebody didn't do their job. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
when it comes to motorcycle racing, man, it's like it's more individual and it's more you versus a person on the bike. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, I mean getting the bike ready and everything, but when it's out there, it's just you and you putting it on the line.
Right.
So that's what excelled you. That's what made you want to go into that in motorcycle, because of all the other sports, that's the one that exhilarated you.
Yeah, man. That was the one that really got my blood pumping.
Oh no! Okay, come on, do it lock up. Do we lock up again? No. Do we lock up?
Football and basketball and all that other kind of stuff. It was fun. Someone just like, yeah, I want some more of that.
So when did it get kind of serious? Where you go, you know what? I'm gonna concentrate all my efforts on racing.
Oh shoot, man. I think my third or fourth race in. I did a couple motocross races, like I told you, and I think I was out there for too long, and I just pulled off.
I think that
my dad's
I
like,
forgot about that.
You have one more lap. I was like, I've been out here since last year. What the heck, man? What's going on? And then he's like, all right.
No, what is it? What is connections?
And I don't. Maybe this isn't for you. You know what I mean? Then we went to Piston Poppers, a local flat track.
And you like that?
What'd you say?
You froze for a little bit. I go, no, but I think you're back now. You're back.
Okay.
So
yeah,
you got tired. You got tired racing a motocross race. You said you pulled off.
Yeah, I was out there.
No.
For so long, I was just like, I don't even. Where is everybody? You know what I mean? I came off the gate. I was all wobbly. You know what I mean? I was just. My dad put the elbow pads over my shirt, knee pads over my pants. I was looking like a scrub out there. I was, but I wasn't doing too bad, I guess. And then we went to Piston Poppers, a local flat track race. And I went to go out for practice, and somebody hit me. My throttle got stuck. My dad brought the bike, and I guess he was just sitting there talking. I missed the race. You know, I didn't know anything. You know, and he just like, oh well. And I think we went back there the next time, and I did all right. I was looking at him. I was waving. You know, you know. Just riding, having a good time. Yeah. And I remember loading the bike. I was like, hey, Dad, you did all right. I hated to lose. And I think from that point on, you know, I come home from school and he just had the bike out there waiting for me. You know what I mean? Go out there, ride, come in, dinner's ready, and then do my homework. You know, I did that every day. And then, you know, I just progressed. So I think, you know, a couple races in, my dad was like, listen, if you're going to do this, and if I'm going to spend my money, you know, so I was young at the time, but I was like in the garage, I was on it. You know, it didn't matter what time of day it was. I wanted to be on that motorcycle.
So, and how old were you that when your dad gave you those life lessons? Like, you know, if you're going to do this, you're going to put the training in and the time in, because I'm not going to waste my time.
Oh, man, it was young. It was 6.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and then after I got to 50, after I think I was still on the 50, which is a 4-stroke, a CRF 50, and I think it was Yola like that. The Millers had a shop, and I think he bought some Contis. I think he bought like 15 of them, and I think Ryan Barnes had one, I had one, and Devin Owens had one. But I think the first day I got it, I rode it at Shippensburg, and I actually won on the thing. He ended up winning on it, and he was like, let's try to get a championship title. And I think that year we went out to Illinois and got that championship title. I think I was 7, and then went back out to 5. Following year when I was 8, and then got another championship title in that class. And then they had me out in Alabama at that the Alabama, did a photo shoot out there. They put me on the front of the mag. It was awesome. And I think from there, you know, even then, you know, my dad had me up early and then running and working out, and he changed shifts with somebody else. That way he could be with me during the day. So then he would wake me up, we would go ride, and then I'll go swim, and then he would drop me off at my grandparents, you know, because then my mom was still at work, and then I was 8 years old. He ain't gonna leave me there by myself. So, you know, I did that. We did that every day. We did that every day, man. And, you know, the hard work paid off. We got the championships. And, you know, we just kept at it from there.
I think it's funny how you guys travel. He trusted you enough to travel, but he didn't trust you enough to stay at your house by yourself. You know, you're 8 years old. He's enough to trust you to travel, to swim and get in shape and all that, but stay at home by yourself? Nah, I don't think so. You gotta have a babysitter.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what he was thinking. You know, I'm like, man, I didn't even have a MySpace or anything. I didn't even have a Nokia. It's not like I was gonna, you know, be like, hey, Jenny, you want to come over? You know, I don't know what he was thinking, but it was cool to go with my grandparents.
You didn't have a Nokia, but your Amish neighbor had a Nokia. Like, I guess he didn't trust you with the Amish. He didn't want you getting in any trouble.
Yeah, I could went over there and smooth talking for a little propane phone or something like that.
Man, that's okay. So, what was the life plan once you started racing? What became the life plan after that? Like the goals? Did your goals shift, or did you have any goals at all?
Yeah, I just wanted to win. You know, that was my dad's biggest thing. Let's just go out and win. You know, so my goal was to be a pro. You know, go pro and be a big time racer. You know, just like anybody wants to be. You know, when they get into it, you know, they see the top guys up there, like, man, I want to be like him. You know.
So we're going, okay. So your dad worked in a plant, you say?
Come again?
Your dad worked in a plant?
Yeah, he worked at a steel mill.
Okay, and he changed his shift so he could help you train.
Yeah, yeah, he switched his shift with somebody to that way instead of him working, during the day, then he would work during the night. That way I could be with him during the day. I could ride, and then he would take me swimming, and then like I said, he would drop me off with my grandparents.
Man, that is so neat. I love that, man. That's all an all family affair, basically, is what that is.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He put in a lot of work, and I think we all did. You know what I mean? It was all hands in. Everybody was doing something.
Is he still like president in your life now, as far as part of the team, or are you all big time now? You don't need him anymore. No, seriously, no. Okay, are you back? There you go. Yeah, is he still part of the team, or you're all big time? You don't need him anymore.
Oh no, no, he's still a part of it. He comes to the races and whatnot, but the bike that I have now is a lot different from just a regular 450. It's an actual flat track setup with a FZ07 motor in it. So he's kind of like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So it's fine. Andrew Butler and Mike Butler, they came in and built the bike for me, not for me, with me, helped me along with it. Andrew and his dad did a killer job on the motor. And they really just helped me along, putting that thing all together. And I can't tell you how many times I swapped the motor out, changed stuff on it, but it was actually really good that I did that. You know what I mean? So now I kind of know every piece of the bike. So now I just got to figure out how to get the setup right on race day. So that was just a blessing to have them there, show me that, and teach me what they know about those kind of bikes.
Did you have a mechanical background at all? Because I know you were telling me stories of how your dad didn't know what he was doing, but he did the best he could. And I wish we had that interview. Yeah, like you didn't know anything mechanical, but he was like, I'm going to do the best I can with this. And you go on the track. And what was one of those stories you told me that he didn't know? Please tell me one of those stories. I vaguely remember that about your dad trying to fix your bike and he did something wrong.
So his thing was he knew how to change gearing and wheelbase, and that was pretty much it. Changing tires and stuff like that he couldn't do. Just mention motors and stuff like that. We tried to change the oil. He done overfloated. It's all over the garage. It's just good times. But the one time I was at the pro race in Springfield, Illinois, at the TT, and it was me and my mom and Brandon Robinson. And he's like, man, let's try to give you a fresher edge for the main. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. You just pull the wool off, put it back on. So he takes the axle out and sticks it in the exhaust pipe, and it goes down into the exhaust. You know what I mean? Everybody's already staged up, and they're about to go out. You know what I mean? So then me and Brandon are sitting there, flipping the bike upside down to get the axle out of the exhaust pipe. And it's all messed up. It's got all that exhaust stuff on it. I'm like, man, just put it in there. We gotta go. And it was kind of weird because at that time my bikes were going race to race to race because I couldn't, we didn't have time to be out in the West Coast. That was the year that you seen me.
Okay, and, yeah.
Yeah, so Sammy Saavedra took my bikes out there for Arizona and California, and then I had them brought back by Johnny Goad. But the bikes were good, but going from race to race and not coming home, they weren't the best. I think I had a seal on the clutch cover that was pinched off and leaking and whatnot. But it was just it was what it was. It was like it's gonna leak a little. It'll be fine. As long as it's not pouring out. And I ended up fourth that day.
So did you have the nerve to? Did you yell at your dad when he put that in your exhaust? Did you go, "What are you doing?" I mean, did you yell at your dad as a kid and you're about to race?
No, it was just one of them things. I was just like, yelling at him was just going to take more time away. I'm like, man, we gotta get that axle out of there. It's not like man, we gotta go.
Is it like I don't know about you, but I've always been kind of afraid of my dad to say, like, raise my voice to him. So in the course of an athlete in an athletic event, and you go, we gotta go. Did you end up? Have you ever yelled at your dad or been like, kind of like, hey, listen, we got to? I mean, has it ever got to that point? And would you? And
Maybe,
would you?
maybe here and there. I don't think we, I think if he was right and I thought about it, I went ahead and tried it, and if it didn't work, I'd be like, yeah, that ain't work, man. I think that's kind of where it was. But like I said, we had all the notebooks and whatnot, so we would just go there and try to be ready as much as possible, so none of that stuff would kind of happen. But I mean, there was a few times where I was just like, man, if you could just learn one more thing, you know what I mean? Because it was like getting off the track, taking my jacket off, working on the bike, grabbing the water, you know what I mean? Then he's just sitting there and I'm just like, dang, man, I'm watching everybody else, you know what I mean? They got mechanics and whatnot, you know what I mean? But like, it was just one of them things to where like, he didn't have a racing background. So I kind of learned all my stuff just doing it, you know what I mean? I think one time I got a couple of tubes and I got myself some tire spoons. And I just went ahead and just changed that same tire over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So now I can change a tire within 5 minutes.
But that's what's got to make you guys get closer, though. But within your dad, it's got to make you guys get closer. When it's just that's one thing I loved about flat track. Or everybody sees a professional level. Don't get me wrong, not that flat track's not professional, but when it's at that level, it's beautiful to see because it's literally like you said. You come in from a race, you got to take your jacket off, get a sip of water, and you got to work on your own bike. No mechanics, just you and dad trying to figure it out. And so that had to bring you guys closer together as a family.
Oh yeah, it definitely did. And sometimes a little frustrating because we might not have as the best equipment as everybody else, but I still put it in there. You know what I mean? I was still up there with them. So that's always he asked for. He would always say, if you get off the line, make sure you're with them. If you're with them, you can stay with them. If you stay with them, you pass them. He goes, you beat them. And so that was his whole thing, just get off the line good. The fastest way to get to the front is off the line.
Yeah.
So that was his thing. And, that's why I stuck by.
Who was your sports heroes growing up? The people that you looked up to, like, okay, they gave you like a kind of a grounding, like, okay, like an inspiration. You know what I mean?
Oh man. Brandon Robinson, definitely, man. He definitely came on and, helped me out. And it was just cool to watch him, you know what I mean? Because he was just cool to watch. He was a local guy,
mm-hmm.
And same thing with him, his family, tried their best with racing. He got on with the team and whatnot. And it was just cool just to hang around with him, It was just like, I texted him, he'd be like, yo, we can't come over. We're going to go ride bicycles. Go over there, ride bicycles. You know what I mean? He would tell me what to eat, what not to eat. I'm like, here's this protein shake. Do this. All right, come here at this time. We're going to ride this time. And then we're going to go hang out. So that was really cool. You know what I mean? And then for him to just to hang out with that kind of top tier rider was like, man, this is so cool.
Was there other like sports hero or just heroes period that you looked up to maybe for a mental aspect?
Man. I don't know, man. I always just kind of made my own way. You know what I mean? Nice. It was just one of the things like, I don't think Michael Jordan was like, man, I want to be like this guy. You know what I mean? When he got like him, now he's going to do, you going to stop? So I was like, man, I want to be him plus more. You know what I mean? Right. So I might have looked up to people and be like, man, he just set a bar. I want to break that bar.
Right. So, okay. So like, when it comes to the mental part of it, because I think you had a bad accident, was it a couple of years ago, where it was kind of like I saw this crash. Now, how did that, I mean, I know flat track, everybody has, but there's always that one accident that has you like maybe a little shook. And talk to me about that accident.
Oh, man. I'm signing autographs and this guy comes over. He's like, man, you ever been in like a real bad accident before doing this? I'm like, no, maybe a couple of falls here and there, but nothing too bad. Man, I went out there and flipped off that bike, cracked my helmet. I think I broke my wrist and my shoulder. And then I tried to go back out, but they're like, no, man, your helmet's cracked down the middle. You need to go. You need to go home. You know what I mean? So then I, went back to the pit, got my stuff off, called my boss. I was like, yo, man, I'm gonna need like 2 weeks. He goes, yeah, I know, I seen. And then I think the next day, that Sunday or Monday, I went to the hospital, got the x-rays. They told me what happened. And my mom was like, what are we gonna do? I was like, she was like, well, let's just go get a brace. So I went there, got a brace, and did that deal, worked out my shoulder a little bit, did whatever I could do to it. And I think Rob McClendon had my bikes at the time, so they were back in Florida. And I was like, yo, get them ready for Texas. And I think Texas was in 2 weeks. I went out there and fast timed. I think, by the time at the end of the day, my body was shot because the track was rough. And I think I ended up 13th or 14th. And then the following weekend, I think, was Calistoga, I believe. I think I got 10th or 11th there, but I didn't know how bad the injuries were because I was trying to turn my wrist all the way and I couldn't, you know what I mean? And I'll go out to the racetrack. I'm like, man, this bike is slow, but it was actually me. I couldn't turn the throttle the whole way.
Wow.
So it didn't mess with my head. It more or less messed with my riding style. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it took me a couple of races, to adapt to that. Now I got to move my whole arm instead of just move my wrist. You know what I mean? So it was all that in one. I don't think it really messed my head that much. Everybody's, if you're going to go out there and do that, you're putting yourself at risk anyway. So
what was this crash at? Where did it happen?
It was at I believe it was in Atlanta, Dixie Speedway.
That's it. The Dixie Speedway. Yeah, I watched it and I was like, because I think we had talked. After we met in Tucson, I became a real big fan, and I happened to see it on TV, and I was like, oh, my boy. I was like, that one kind of hit me personally, and I was glad to see you were okay. But like, what exactly happened in that crash?
Ryan Wells, I don't know if he snapped on the throttle too hard or what, but man, he zipped around, and I tried to come off the front of the bike, but when I tried to do that, my front wheel went over fine, but when my back wheel hit, it just ejected me, and it just threw me off. And I did a big old cartwheel, and I went head first into the ground, and then my wrist was all jammed up in there, and then I might have gotten ran over. I don't know. I really don't remember that much. And then I remember laying there, and then Rob McClendon, he's like knocking on my visor, like, Cam, you all right, man? I'm like, I'm waking up. You know what I mean? I look over, my bike's still running. I'm like, I'm good to go. And then I get up. I'm like, oh man, I can't. I'm a little messed up. So then they took me into the ambulance. I'm like, all right, I'm good. And my mom put my jacket on. I was like, I don't think I can race, but I still want to. And then, they were like, man, you done cracked your helmet. You're jacked up. You need to go home. So they didn't let me back out that day.
Wow. When did you realize, or what part, when did you realize this is going to be a bad one? Like, was it when you were cartwheeling off the bike? Like, I think this is going to be a bad one. Like, when exactly did you know, like, this is going to be the worst crash ever?
When my head hit that ground. Man, there was no cushion, man. You weren't hitting no Tempur-Pedic. That was a cement footers right there. That was hard.
Oh man. So now, how did your parents react to that? Did they ever try to maybe you know what, son, maybe you want to try something else, or were just real supportive again? Were they like, okay, it's a setback, you'll be okay?
My mom was she wasn't too worried. She just wanted to make sure I was all right. My dad was like, come on, Cam, get up, let's go. You should be all right.
Yeah.
I was in college at that time. My dad was like, well, how about you just go to college? And I was like, man, we done came this far. You better stop talking like that, man. We done came too far to be doing all that, So, no, we just stuck with it. I don't think it hurt anybody really.
That's now, talking about the dangers of the sport. I mean, any sport's dangerous, inherently dangerous. But when it comes to motorcycle racing, of course it is. So, with the accident with the Brian, is it Brian? What's his name? The guy kept paralyzed. But Brad Baker. Did that have an effect on you? Because when I went to the reason I went to Tucson because I met him at during the MotoGP week at COTA, and so I was like, hey man, I'm gonna come to Tucson and see you race, and that's where I met you. So when the accident happened, did that affect you a little bit, or you just have to block it out and continue to do what you do?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that stuff happens. That's the stuff you just keep in the back of your head. You never want to see anybody get hurt like that. But that's why you try to, like I said at the beginning, try to keep yourself strong, physically, just in case if you do fall, you don't get all crumbled up. So it hurt. It definitely hurt because me and Brad were cool. But like I said, that stuff you kind of you just got to keep it in the back of your head. You try not to let that mess with you, especially on race day, because then you start worrying about other riders on the racetrack, and then that's when you're putting yourself at risk. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like anything. If you're scared about something, then something's going to happen. You know what I mean? You let off the gas too early because you think you're a little scared, and then somebody runs right into the back of you. It's just stuff like that. So you just got to keep rolling.
Well, talk me through your mental approach for a race. I want to be like myself. Talk me through it, okay? Like it's race time. What do you do? Are you superstitious? Do you put the right boot on before the left boot? Do you put your glove on before, or do you listen to music? Talk me through the process of mental preparation before the race. What do you do? Is it music? Tell me, what do you do?
Usually I'm working on my bike, so I'm already frustrated that I'm working on my own bike, and I'm looking around and everybody's got a mechanic, and both sides of my hands are black. So that right there just gets me riled up. I'm like, man, I don't even got a mechanic. I'm about to go out here and just crush these dudes. That's kind of just my mental preparation, as far as listening to music and stuff like that. Maybe once in a while if I have time, but usually I'm working on my bike, throwing my helmet on, it's time to go out. I just tell myself, just get a good start, get off the line, and I can win. So
you're lined up on the line. You're lined up, ready for that green flag. What's your first thought? I mean, what are you thinking when you're rolling up to the line, and then people to the right of you, left of you, or whatever, and you roll into that? What are you thinking? What's Cameron Smith thinking when you roll up to that line and it's about to go down?
I don't know. I really try not to think too much. I really don't try to put too much thought into it. I try to keep a clear head. You know what I mean? Just like I said, keep my mind, just get a good start, and just go. Because sometimes if you're thinking too much, you might hesitate off the line. I just keep a clear head. Keep my breathing right. I try not to look at anybody else. I just, stay focused. You know what I mean?
Concentrate on you.
It's just one of the things, I'm looking straight ahead. I'm focused. I'm waiting for that green light to go, and I'm going.
Now, a lot of riders talk about the red mist, when they get pissy with another rider. Maybe some words are said or something happens. You think that's kind of dirty or whatever. Has it ever happened to you? You ever gotten really mad at another rider? I mean, we all realize it's athletic competition and things happen. And in that moment, you lose your head and then all of a sudden, okay, you cool down we're good. But has it ever happened to you where you've been pissed, maybe had a couple words with a rider?
Man, I maybe I really can't remember. I think there was a time this season at Volusia where I think Ben Lau was trying to come on the outside of me and he went down, and they were trying to say I took him out or something like that, and I was just like, he was going on the outside of me on the straightaway, I was on the inside, and the groove is only big enough for one person. So if you're going to go on the outside, you're taking that risk of going down. And it's not like I was, slamming anybody, and so the guy, I guess it was his brother, he was shaking his head like, oh man, you took him out, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, he was going around the outside. I was just holding my line. That's what my mom tells me,
right.
hold your line.
Right.
It is what it is. And I was kind of confused because he took somebody out the day before, hard. And so I was just like, well, why are you saying something to me? And then second of all, it was only a lap in. Everybody gets repositioned in the same spot. The race has started all over again. So what's it really matter? and I think I got a little upset, and I called him a stupid bitch, and then I tried,
that's what I wanted to hear. That's the stuff I want to hear.
I tried not to, but after, just basically building a bike, not really knowing how to work on it, and just going straight into the AFT National, and then my forks were leaking. So after every time I come off the track, big shout out to Sam Lowe for giving me that oil. I would, fill it up with oil. I had to check my bike, make sure everything was nice, check my wheelbase, see how my tires looking. So after doing all of that, my fuse is already short, but I try not to, because everybody knows I'm a nice guy. I am a nice guy. I really try not to act like that. But then when you come at me like that, I said something. I said a word or two,
What'd you say? What'd you say? Don't just what'd you say?
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I was just like, I'm pretty sure he was going out on the outside of me, man. I don't think I took him out. And he goes, yeah, we'll watch the tape. I was like, then go ahead and watch the fucking tape, you stupid bitch, and I was about to get off my bike. My dad came and was like, hey, what's going on over here? I'm like, oh man, let's just go, man. Let's go and race.
That's what I wanted to hear. That's the Cam that I wanted to hear. I was like, come on now, this guy ain't that nice. But but it happens though. I mean, it's sports, man. In the heat of the battle, to me personally, I would be upset if somebody didn't get upset, because that's what happens. I mean, I don't care what you're doing. And then once you settle down and, you're, you know what, and we're all good. And then somebody comes over and, gives you a little fist bump or whatever. And if not, then whatever. You know what I mean? But it's sport. That's what happens. Did you guys ever patch things up, or he finally realized, okay, it was my fault?
I don't know. It was one of them things, man, to where like, when you're there by yourself, you're not really worried about anybody else. You're just trying to make sure you're all right, and you're making it out on the racetrack. You know what I mean? And I think after the race, started watching the tape and whatnot, I'm like, it don't matter. I could see if I took him out and it was lap 9 and he was 2 laps down, but we all restarted. The race was restarted, and we all lined back up in our same spots, and we start at lap 0. You know what I mean? And we start with 8 minutes. So what does it matter? You know what I mean? I'm like,
don't get mad at me, man. I'm just asking. Don't get mad at me, man. I'm just asking. Don't get mad at me. I got him all mad, Malik. I got him all mad. He's getting mad at me. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just asking. I can tell. No, that's still fresh in your mind by the way that you're talking, because you were a nice calm. And then I mentioned that, and I can tell you kind of elevate a little bit more. I can tell it's still kind of a thorn in your side, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, not really. They were looking at the tape, and I'm sitting there, and my mom didn't bring my stand up, so I had to run all the way back down to the pit, came all the way back, got the stand for the bike. They didn't even need the stand. You know what I mean? And so, and I just let it go. I didn't even look that way. I was just like, man, I just had a good weekend. I had a top 5 finish the first day, and I had a top 10 finish, the second day. I was like, man, let's load it up, go home, and forget about all this. I didn't even, what am I gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey man, I'm sorry, but God was with you. You got a second chance.
Yeah.
So
you stupid bitch. Hey, but God was with you. You'll be okay next race. No, man, you ain't got to apologize to nothing, man. You really don't. Like I said, it's racing, man. It happens. It's not like you go out there intentionally to do something. I mean, especially in a sport like motorsports, we know things can happen, but no one goes out there to intentionally do anything bad. So we all know it happens. So you ain't got to explain anything to me, man. So I want to know, what do you have to do to get to that point? Because you talk about you have to work on your own bike. What do you have to do to get to that point where you get a team, where it's like you can go full-time professional?
Man, you gotta have really good backing. The racing's getting more expensive every year, so you gotta have money behind you. So right now I have sponsors, but the sponsors I have are enough, to keep the bike going and help me get to the racetrack. It's help. It's good help. You know what I mean? So if I had a sponsor come in and said, hey, I'm gonna pay for everything, and all you have to worry about is going to the track. But even then, it's kind of skeptical, because you don't know if that guy's going to go out, at the end of the season. So now I done quit my job. Now I'm racing and everything's cool. But now I ain't got that sponsor anymore. Now what I'm going to do? So, it's just one of them things where you You just almost have to trust the process and just go for it, you know. So
Now, do you still have your day job? Do you still have your day job?
yeah, I still have it. You know, that's what's keeping me going right now. You know, just I just bought a new van, so I got to get that thing going, and just the bike, and then I got a 750 motor. You know, so that has to be done. And I'm trying to build a second bike right now, and so I'm kind of funding myself with people, with everybody else helping me too. You know, so it's a combined, thing. You know.
What kind of van did you get? A Dodge Mini Star, a Dodge Windstar? What kind of van did you get? Like an old 70s
Come
van?
again?
What kind of van did you get? Like an old like Dodge Windstar? Did you get like one of those 70s vans with the girl with the surfing board on the side? What kind of van did you get? I want to know, man.
It's a 2019 Chevrolet Express.
Okay.
Savannah, the long one. So it's nice. It's a good van. You know, I needed a good van because I knew I was going to do a bunch of traveling. I don't want that thing to break down anywhere. You know, I don't want to be in the middle of Mississippi and I'm down there with Billy and Tom, and and I'm ass out. You know what I mean?
Trust me, I know what you mean, man. So like, okay, tell people what you do for a living on your day job. Tell people what you do for a living for your day job.
I'm an HVAC technician. So basically what I do, they have a guy that goes in there and quotes the job, gets them to writes down all the numbers and gets all the model and serials for the units. And then we come in and put in a new coil or outdoor unit
for
air conditioning
and heating.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you like it, but I mean, how bad do you want to quit and just be a professional racer?
Man, I think about that every day. I'm like, man,
do you have it written down?
I don't even want to go into work today, man. I just want to go work on my motorcycles, but then again, if I don't go into work, it takes away from my own racing. So it's kind of like one of them things where I got to do it to do what I want to do.
Do you have it written down as a goal to be a professional racer? You can have a mechanic and you can do it for a living. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, do you have it written down so that's the goal? Because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, we talked before and you said, I think you were getting up at 5 a.m, working out, then going to work, then coming back, working out and working on the bike. So is that still the same schedule?
Every day, it don't stop, it ain't going to stop, until I get there. So it's almost like that thing. You got to struggle and grind to get to the top. Sometimes, people might have connections or, like you said, a racing background. So they know what their son needs. They might have connections from when they raced, so it might be a little bit easier for them. We came, we didn't even know what flat track was. My dad don't even know how to ride a motorcycle. Neither does my mom or anybody else in my family, maybe a cousin or two, but that's it.
That's why it's so beautiful. I mean, that's got to be the most frustrating part. The fact that you have the talent, but the fact that you want to be, all the way professional, but you're not, and you don't have really those connections. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
right.
you sometimes, like I said, you got to do sometimes stuff that you don't want to do so you can do what you want to do. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and is that the most frustrating part right now in your life?
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of the things, I'm at working in the attic, I'm making good money, but then again, I'm like, man, I'm seeing Sammy Halbert riding and everybody else is riding and whatnot like that, getting ready for the race. And then I'm like, man, I got to work out before and then try to come home and make up for that lost time that I missed during the day. So it's just one of the things, you know what I mean? It's a struggle to the grind. To get to the top, so I think once I prove myself on that new bike and maybe get up there a little bit, my name gets out there a little bit more, hopefully I can fulfill that dream.
Is that what keeps your focus? Because sometimes it gets frustrating, and that's the thing about it. I tell people, man, it's the hard times that make you more focused, and it also reveals your character. Because sometimes if you're banging your head against the wall trying to make it work, and sometimes you don't see those results, and it's like, okay, what am I doing? And you might be like, what? It's over, whatever. I'll just do this, or has it made you more focused? Like, damn it, I'm gonna make this work regardless.
Oh yeah, especially going down to Florida, Evolution, and winning that semi, getting fourth in that ninth. I'm like, man, I want more. So even though that it's not how I want it, I'm still gonna try and get what I want, even though if I'm by myself. You know what I mean?
So what's the overall goal for Cameron Smith? Not just this year, but what's your overall goal in life right now? I mean, right now.
Man, I love to be the best thing on that motorcycle, but you know, I want to own my HVAC business. So you know, I want to do a lot of things. I want to own my own HVAC business. You know, I want to get in real estate like my dad, and I want to be a motorcycle racer. So it's a lot. It's a lot of avenues that I want to do, but I think I can do them all.
Of course you can, man. You got a birthday coming up. How old is he going to be? I know it's June 22nd, right?
Yeah.
How old is he going to be?
22.
Oh my God, you're gonna do it, man. You're still young, man. Get out of here. Matter of fact, go to bed right now. Go to bed. When this is over, I want you to get you some ice cream and go to bed. 22, man. You got the world. Hey, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, man. You got the world. You got the world in your hands right now. It seems frustrating right now, but trust me when I say this, man. You got the greatest parents in the world. You got a good backing. You got everything, man. You really do. You got the communication skills. You got the talent. It's gonna come, man. Just don't be deterred. You know what I mean? Don't be deterred. As my dad would say, stay away from those girls. Just to stay on the focus, man. Stay whatever you do. Just go there with blinders on. Don't be distracted by the Amish, even though they got some hot Amish chicks out there who can churn some butter and you know make crops, whatever. Their little flip flop, like, hey, what's up, Ezekiel? Whatever. Don't be like that. You stay focused on the path, man, because you're gonna do it.
Yeah, that's definitely what I'm doing.
Okay, so before we get out of here, what's your highlight race? The one race that sticks out in your mind as the one that made you go, yeah, I got a little something. I got a little something.
Oh man, I think there was a couple of races. I think there was a race. There was a race where, man, there was a race in Paris. I missed my flight that Friday. We flew out Saturday morning. And LAX was not the best option, you know. And then, man, we got the rental car. We had to wait a couple hours for rental car. We were driving there, and I'm watching practice. I'm like, man, we're gonna miss it. We're really gonna miss it. And Brad Baker gave me his bike to ride there.
Wow.
And so, yeah. And so he's like, man, where you at? They're not gonna let you race, man, if you're not here by the last session. So I finally get there. I run across the track. I switch in my clothes. We put the number plates on. I go off for practice. I think I get 13th or 14th or whatever. Then I go out for the semi. I think I got 4th or 5th. And then that put me on the second row. I picked all the way on the outside. And I think I was 5th or 6th or something like that. And I got by Shayna. And then I seen Kobe Carlisle. He was in 3rd. I'm like, man, I'm in 4th, but he was a straightaway ahead with only 3 laps left, and I caught up to him so fast, man, and I almost had a podium, but it was I needed another lap to get around him.
Wow.
So that was a good race, and then the other one was at Greenville when I beat Jared Mees. I think I worked a half a day that day. Joel Brown brought my bike to the racetrack. I think it was ready and whatnot, and I put the bike together with some janky parts, old used parts and whatnot, because I was tight on money, you know, and he's just like, I don't even know how this bike is still running. I went out there in the main and beat Jared Mees and a couple other guys in our Indian that day.
Wow. That had to beat Jared Mees. Jared Mees is tough, man. That had to be the career highlight. That had to be.
Oh yeah, man. And then the at Volusia, I went to go out for my heat race. And my swing arm bolt was all the way backed off. My foot peg bolt was backed off. My linkage on my shifter was all loose. And I think my wheel was cocked or something like that. I was like, man, what the heck happened? I swear I just checked it all. So they're lining up and getting ready and whatnot. And I'm down there wrenching on the thing, trying to put it all together. You know what I mean? I'm frustrated because I'm like, my dad's like, all right, hold on, let me go get you some help. I'm like, you're supposed to be doing this, man. You know what I mean? And I finally got it, get the bike started, went out there, and then I won the semi.
Wow. Man, that had to be so fulfilling. It really did. You know what I mean? Because and the fact that you kept your mentals about you and didn't let it get you down.
Yeah, man. If, you know, one little slip up, I would have missed that race, but I got it together and went out there. I think they were already starting to line up, and I just rode right out there, you know, and did the thing.
When it comes to that, is that when you go, you know what? I got a little something different. Even though all these guys are here and they're racing, I think I got a little something different for him. Is that when you went that? Because to go through all that and be running, like I said, you're changing clothes while you're running, try to get into the race, whatever, and to still do what you did. Is that when you went, I think this is for me, or I think I got a little something different?
Oh yeah, always. I always, keep that in my head that I got something special.
Man, I honestly, like I said, maybe because you're young and I'm the wannabe. I've always been the wannabe. Like, so now, that's why I was so glad to meet you and talk to you. Is that, man, it's gonna happen. You just got, and the great thing about it is I love your dad. I met him once. I don't even know if we said hi, but I met him once, and I was like, I just love the fact he was there. You know what I mean? He's that protective father.
Oh, yeah, man.
So I love that dude.
Yeah, he's a sociable guy, man. You'll be on load, and you might see him when practice starts. With some beef jerky in his hand. So I'm like, man, I was down at whatchamacallit's pit. Man, he's got some beef jerky. What gear you got on there, man? No, we need this, So he's a character, man. He's funny as heck.
That's great. And by the way, okay, before we get out here, name your motorsports heroes, if you can.
Oh man, definitely Brandon Robson. Rusty Rogers. He's an old flat tracker. I like him because he was just crazy, man. And oh man, I don't know, man. There's so many racers out there, man, that were legit. I don't know, man. There's just too many to name. I don't even know, man.
Now, have you thought about have you ever thought about changing disciplines? Because James Rispoli used to race road racing, and he's successful at it. And a lot of the successful road racers come from the flat track background and the motocross background. So you ever thought about going road racing?
Yeah, I actually did a little bit of supermoto road racing or something like that at Sandy Hook Speedway. I think that was in New Jersey with the Millers. Roy Miller, he owns a service pavilion. He sells a ride helmets, whatnot, and he has a nice service shop and whatnot. And I loved it. I went out there and rode the thing, and I felt right at home. You know what I mean? Put my knee down, drag my knee.
You dragged the knee already.
Yeah, man, I heard that pretty dang quick. So
well, hey, that's where the money is, road racing, man. That's where the money is. I mean, you might like flat track, don't get me wrong. But you might want to think about road racing. If I were you, I'd talk to Kenny Roberts. I mean, matter of fact, talk to your boy. Hey, I can hook you up. I know people. We can hook you up, get you in a road race. Next thing you know, you're racing MotoGP, all because of me. And that way you get a little money. You know what I mean? You get your own business, all because of me. So if you want to do that, talk to me. Holla at your boy.
Okay, I will.
And if you want to, June my birthday's in June also. I'm a Gemini. Are you a Gemini or a Cancer?
I'm a Cancer.
Oh, okay. Anyway, June baby. You tell you what, June 1st, I'm gonna be a barber. I'm doing the California Sport Bike School, so I'm gonna go around barber. I got my race suit, and see if my fat ass can still fit in it. But I got my race suit, so if you want to come down, learn something from a pro like myself, you come on down June 1st. If you ain't doing nothing, if you ain't put no air conditioning in someplace, come on down to Bama, and I'll teach you a couple things.
Okay, yeah, that's actually where I did that photo shoot in Alabama.
Really?
Yeah, at the oh man, I think we did it right there. I think it's right when you pull in. They have that big kind of stadium looking thing, whatever.
Yeah, the museum.
Yeah, it was right in there. Yeah, right in there. So I got to see the track and whatnot. I think they were having the track day. It was awesome. I'd love to go there and ride that track.
I tell you what, man, you come down to the Indy 500 on that Sunday, and then you drive down to Barber. I'm going to take a flight because I'm big time, but I'm going to fly down to Barber. You come to Indy 500, watch Indy 500 together. I'm going to fly down to Barber. You drive, and then we'll do that California Sport Bike School, and I'll show you what's up.
Hey, sounds good to me.
Cameron, man, thanks for the time. I mean, honestly, I'm glad we got this done. I mean it from the bottom of my heart because, you were a busy dude. I didn't want to bother you. We couldn't get it done the first time because of technical difficulties. But, man, I've always followed your career. I love what you're doing, and I wish nothing but the best for you. But when the worst comes to worst, man, I really think you should go with the road racing. I mean, give it a shot. I say give it a shot.
Hey, I want to.
Do that. I mean, do that, man. But good luck this year. I wish nothing but the best for you. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. If you guys get a chance, follow 44 Cameron Smith. Hello, lady. How are you? Follow 44 Cameron Smith. This guy's going to be a big superstar someday. He's got the looks. He's got the talent. He's going places. Thank you so much, Cameron, for joining. I appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching Tales from a Gemini. And like I say around this time,
Pay.